Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Max Velocity weather forecast. And in today's forecast, we'll be breaking down a huge storm that's coming to the United States next week, and this storm is going to bring some problems, including the risk of severe weather, including the potential for some damaging winds, large hail, and even a few tornadoes. We'll also be talking about the potential for snow in areas like the Ohio Valley, the very far eastern parts of the Midwest, and the Northeast tonight, all the way through tomorrow. I'll be giving you the latest breakdown on everything that you need to know in this forecast, and let's begin with what's happening right now in the United States today. And we'll begin with the East Coast, and this is an area that is very active right now. We have ongoing showers and thunderstorms back down in areas like Florida. A lot of this activity is beginning to move offshore, but this is actually where we had some severe weather. A couple of tornadoes were confirmed. We had two confirmed in Georgia, one by radar and one by visual. There's also another tornado confirmed earlier this morning in southeast Alabama near Blue Springs, so it's been pretty active down there. We've had a few tornadoes, some damaging winds as well. A lot of that activity, though, is beginning to move offshore, and we are going to be done with severe weather all the way at least through Tuesday, possibly even through Wednesday of this upcoming week. So some great news there. If you're scared of thunderstorms, we don't have to deal with that at least through about Wednesday or so. Back over to the Northeast, we have a low pressure system that is quickly moving into the north and east. That's actually in Canada right now, but this is what's going to allow for some snow showers to develop across areas in Michigan, perhaps even in eastern Wisconsin tonight all the way through tomorrow, and we'll eventually watch for some snowfall in areas like Ohio, possibly even northern Kentucky, Pennsylvania, New York, West Virginia, maybe even Maryland over the next 24 to 48 hours, and we'll have a detailed breakdown on that later in this forecast. Heavy snowfall will be ongoing for the next 24 to 48 hours across northern New England, many areas picking up as much of a foot of snowfall tonight through tomorrow. And then back over in the Great Plains, it is very, very nice weather this weekend. Really no complaints, but that's going to change as we go into the middle and end of next week when we have a large storm that'll enter the country. We'll be doing a full breakdown on that here in just a couple of minutes. Let's talk more, though, about the weather pattern that'll be impacting the United States over the next several days. And to look at that, we are going to look at the jet stream. This gives us an idea of the weather patterns that are happening across the country. Beginning with tomorrow, we are going to have a low pressure system centered over Michigan in the upper levels of the atmosphere. This is actually going to create a very strong jet streak across areas in the southeast, and what that means is that if you're flying perhaps for spring break, there is going to be a lot of turbulence between areas in Texas back into North Carolina if you're either going north to south or south to north. So just keep that in mind. If you're going west to east, you're actually going to probably get to your location quicker because of the jet stream, which is pretty fascinating. Once we go into late Sunday into Monday, that low pressure system moves out. Things dry out for the most part as we go into next week. I'm not looking at any big storms, and you can actually see by the jet stream, there's really not a whole lot of organization in this jet stream other than back down in the Gulf of Mexico, but even then, we're not talking about really any storms between Sunday all the way through about Tuesday or Wednesday, unless you're in the Northeast. Once we go into Wednesday, though, that is when a large storm will begin to develop over the Rocky Mountains. And what's interesting about this is that there is a chance that this actually becomes a bit more of a bowling ball low. What I mean by that is as we go into Wednesday into Thursday, notice this low pressure system, it actually becomes a bit of a closed low here across areas near New Mexico and back into like Utah and as well as Arizona. By Thursday into Friday, that low pressure system might actually go backwards. It actually could go west, which will be very interesting. But what's going to be fascinating at the surface is that we're going to have actually an injection of low pressure systems moving across the central plains and back through the Midwest as we go into Thursday into Friday at the surface. But in the upper levels, that low pressure system will sit there all the way through Friday and Saturday. Meanwhile, we'll have another low pressure system potentially come out of Canada. And if this happens, this will actually bring the potential for a cold blast to areas in the Midwest, to the northern and central plains. We even could get some snow out of that. Once we go into Sunday and Monday, the European model does show that that low pressure system really intensifies in Canada, leading to this system weakening back down in the southwest, and overall that would kind of get absorbed by this large storm. But it's a big question mark exactly what happens after Friday. It is likely that we are going to get a low pressure system across areas in the northern plains and the Midwest that'll bring a cold blast, and as well as that severe weather potential with this other low pressure system. But exactly what happens after that does remain very uncertain. Now, with all this being said, we have a threat of severe weather as we go into Thursday, which is tossing trampolines on tall trees Thursday. There is already a slight risk of severe weather issued by the Storm Prediction Center. Keep in mind, this is the day 6 outlook, which is pretty uncommon to see this sort of stuff happening, but there is a increasing confidence that we will see at least some severe weather across parts of Oklahoma and Texas as we go into Thursday. Now, granted that this is just one area, but there is definitely a chance for severe weather as far north as areas like central Illinois, perhaps even back into Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. All those states do have a chance for severe weather as we get closer to Thursday and to Friday. More detailed breakdown on that here in just a second. But for Thursday, the main concerns right now are damaging winds and large hail. There is definitely going to be a chance for a couple of tornadoes in that slight risk, so keep that in mind. But there could be some shifting with that area that is most concerning, so keep that in mind. Some things might change over the next few days. Let's dive into the future radar, give you an idea of what these storms will actually be doing on the radar, and give you an idea of where there's going to be rain and snow. We'll be talking more about this snow event in just a moment, but once we go into Monday into Tuesday, that moves offshore. High pressure will be dominating across much of the country, anywhere east of the Rocky Mountains. It is going to be beautiful for Monday and Tuesday. Get outdoors, beautiful weather across much of the country. Once we go into Wednesday into Thursday, that is when that low pressure system, or at least the first surface-based low pressure system, will make an appearance in the Central Plains by Wednesday morning. Some isolated showers, maybe even a couple of storms possible Wednesday morning. By the late afternoon and evening hours, there will be some sort of low-end threat of severe weather, most likely in the Central Plains. I'm not overly confident that we're going to see any sort of severe weather outbreak out of this, but that would be our first day to watch for, at least some severe weather. Once we go to Thursday morning, some showers and thunderstorms move into the Midwest, and as well as back down in the Southern Plains. This is where we're going to have to watch for Thursday for a more elevated risk of severe weather. All modes of severe weather being possible Thursday afternoon and evening, including the potential for damaging winds, large hail, and a couple tornadoes. By late Thursday into Friday, there will be a couple of storms likely back up in the Midwest. We even could get some severe weather going to late Thursday night into Friday morning in areas like Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky, as long as this low pressure system remains on track for where it's forecasted to be. But I do want to mention, I'm not expecting a severe weather outbreak up here. I think more than anything, it would be isolated severe weather, maybe some sort of marginal risk of severe weather for damaging winds, hail, maybe an isolated tornado. Once we go into late Friday into Saturday, this storm moves to the east. We'll eventually have to watch for that low pressure system coming out of Canada to perhaps bring some snow to areas in the upper Midwest. Overall, I'm not expecting a winter storm. By late Saturday into Sunday, things become more uncertain, especially across the eastern tier. We'll keep you posted with the latest as things continue to develop with all this activity. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Let's talk more about the snow potential for both tonight all the way through tomorrow and Monday. Beginning with tonight, there will be some snow across areas in the Great Lakes, and this will be all lake effect snow from a strong northerly wind. So snow is expected tonight into tomorrow morning across Michigan, back into Ohio, and even parts of northeast Indiana. You'll get a little bit of snowfall. We'll see a couple of flurries, some light snow in northern Kentucky early tomorrow morning. Once we go into late Sunday into Monday, all that snow starts to clear out, so this will primarily be for tonight into tomorrow morning, with a little bit of snow in Ohio still remaining by the afternoon hours. In terms of total snowfall accumulation, most areas going to see between 1 to 3 inches of snow in northern Michigan. Most of Michigan, though, anywhere between a coating to an inch or two would be most of what everybody's going to see. Back near Detroit, I'm expecting right around a coating of snow. And then back into Ohio, most areas around a coating to maybe a couple inches. Back into the north and east tonight, we'll be watching for some moderate snowfall across the higher elevations of New England. Tomorrow morning, we'll be watching for lake effect snow coming off of Lake Erie across parts of western New York, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, and even West Virginia. A couple of snow showers are possible near Maryland and perhaps even near New York City once we go into late tomorrow night, and eventually by Monday morning, that snow will still be ongoing, but most of it will be relatively light across much of New England. Total snowfall accumulation, higher elevations, especially in upstate New York, back into New Hampshire, many of those areas, we'll see anywhere from a few inches to perhaps even a foot of snow. In Mount Washington, we could actually get upwards of 2 to 3 feet of snow. Back over in western Pennsylvania and as well as western New York, lake effect snow could very easily bring a few inches of snow. I would expect between 2 to 4 inches with a few isolated spots near 6 to 8 inches of snowfall. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you've not already.